money out of there. No, no, no. Bear Stearns is fine. Do not take your money out. This is real.
Hey guys, today we're learning about NinjaTrader alerts. Now these are important if there's a certain criteria that you want to be alerted to. For example, like if the price goes above or below the moving average, or if the volume spikes and you want to draw your attention back to the market once the volume is above a certain level. And then there's other price alerts, and we're also going to learn about how you can make your own custom sounds. Now these alerts are not hard, but there are some complications that you should be aware of. And if you are, it'll save you 10-20 minutes of trying to get the alert to work. So let's go ahead and talk about the moving average alert. So to set up your own moving average alert, you're going to right click on your moving average and you're going to come down to alert. Now you're going to have this first screen that pops up, and what you see, you have the data series. You have what you want to cross above or below on something on the right. So this is what you're watching, and you want it to have some change related to the column on the right. So in this example, we have our 2000 tick chart, and that's just the price. So we're looking for the price to cross above the moving average, and we have that moving average, the 20 moving average selected here. So at this point, I could select something else. I could have it cross above the 200 moving average, but we'll just keep it at 20. And in the same way, I could also choose there to be a different indicator on the left. And so the left is what impacts the right. But in this case, we're just going to keep it at we want the 2000 tick, the price of that to cross above the 20 moving average. And so this is a tick chart. You could do a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart or whatever time frame you like on the left, and then choose whichever indicator you'd like on the right. So we have our price crossing above the 20 moving average, and that looks good. So we're going to click OK. And then you go to this next screen. And so this is where you'll set up the sound that you want to play, and you'll make a couple extra settings. The first thing I do, the conditions, go ahead and click if any. So you might want to add multiple conditions here, like if it crosses above, but I also want to make it if it crosses below. So anytime that price moves above or below the moving average, that might indicate a change in the trend. So I want to be alerted to that. So I'm going to click if any, and that will save us problems in the future. All right, so we're enabled, so that's good. You can name it whatever you would like it here, but I'm just going to leave it the name as is. Then rearm type. So imagine every time the price moves above or below the moving average, sometimes it goes up and down a lot in the same few seconds. Like, so through here, right, price is moving up and down a lot, but we've already been alerted to it. So I don't want to be alerted every single moment that's happening. So on the rearm type, I'll just do, how about on timer? I'm going to set that to 60 seconds. So once the alarm goes off, I'm alerted to it, and then I see it. And then I don't want to be re-alerted until 60 seconds later. And you could set that to whatever you'd like. But that gives you enough time, like you're not going to be annoyed by that alarm going off over and over again when you're already aware of it. So we have our timer set, conditions to if any. Moving down, you can get a text message, or it'll alert you on NinjaTrader. I normally don't mess with that. I just have the sound play, so I don't touch anything here in this message box. But now we want to add the sound. So under actions, we're going to click add, play a sound, and then through here you can choose your different files that you want. Alert 1 is pretty annoying. It's kind of an aggressive sound, but so I like alert 2 instead, and it's just a softer notification. And later we'll show you how to make the custom sounds of something that you would, if you would like. All right, so now at this point, everything should be good and set up. However, I don't just want it to happen when it crosses above the moving average. I also want it to happen if it crosses below. So in this way, it's a perpetual alert. I don't have to go back and reset it every day. It's just going to be on here. If it crosses above or below the moving average, then I'm alerted to it, and I can draw my attention to that chart. So to add the cross below, we'll click add. We have the price here, the 2000 tick on the left, and we're going to change that to cross below. All right, cross below. And we want to make sure we select the correct item on the right. So we'll go to the indicators and we'll select the 20. All right, so that's all we need to do. We have price when it crosses below the 20, then we'll click OK. And now notice we already have our sound set up. So this whole thing is ready to go. So let's go ahead and click OK and we'll wait for it to cross over. All right, so price had just went below the 200 moving average, or the 20 moving average, and so now you heard that beep, so you'd be alerted to when that happens. And now it rearms, so it's going to wait 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, it will rearm. So that way, when you have it going up and down like this, touching it several times, then it's not going to annoy you. If you want to turn it off temporarily, you'll right-click it again, and you can just unclick the enabled, and that'll turn it off. Then when you're ready for the alert to come back on again, then you can just enable it again. But for now, we're going to turn it off, and we're going to look at the volume alert. So I've moved over to the 5-minute chart, and sometimes the market's not doing too much. The volume isn't too high, and you just want to be alerted if there's a spike in volume. So if there's some kind of news, if something's happened with tariffs, black swan event, something that there's a spike in volume, and you just want to be your attention drawn back to the chart. So you can see here, for example, look how low this volume was during this day. And then there's a spike in volume. And then there's also a big move in the chart. So if you want to be alerted to a spike in volume happening here, let's say up to 20K, then you can be alerted that the market's doing something and there might be some big moves happening. All right, so we'll select our volume, we'll right click it, we'll click alert. And now what you see is on the left, we have not the price, but instead we have the indicator itself. So volume is selected. And we're not going to do cross above or cross below for this. We're actually going to do a greater equal or less equal. So if the volume becomes greater or equal to than a certain numeric value that we have on the right. And here at this point, we can select that numeric value. So just for the purposes of the video, we'll do 2000. So if volume goes above 2000, then we will be alerted. So the big difference with using the volume indicator is that you do greater, equal, or less equal instead of cross above or cross below. And that's just the difference in how using an indicator versus using price. So volume greater than or equal to, then you have our numeric value, and then we set that right here. Okay, so our same screen pops up. Rearm type, we could just rearm it on the bar close because the volume just occurs on that every single bar. So when the bar closes, it'll just restart. If all is fine here, we'll choose if all because I'm not going to add another condition here. Now, it's probably good practice to just choose if any, just in case. It just reduces complications, but we're not going to mess with the message any. Actions, we're going to go ahead and add in our sound. We'll leave it as alert 1, and this is the more annoying alert. So we'll hear how that sounds. Everything should be set up, so we'll click OK. All right, and you hear, in this case, it immediately went off because our volume is already above 2000. So then at this point, the bar would close, and then the next bar would form, and it would get above 2000, and then we would hear that alert again. So this is valuable if it's been a boring day, a sideways day, and you're working on something else, but you still want to be alerted to a spike in volume. And then you can wait for that sound, and then you can draw your eyes back to the chart. Okay, the next alert type is a price alert. So if you're waiting for the price to go above or below a certain price, and you want to be alerted to it, then this is how you'll do it. Now, just like the previous two examples, when we want to add an alert to something, we right-click it and then go to alert. So in this case, we'll click on the actual bars themselves, and then we'll right-click and add the alert to it this way. All right, now, so we have our price on the left, and we want it to, so we're using the numeric value again. So we're going to use the greater than, the greater equal, or the less equal. All right, so in this case, we'll do greater equal. And the price is right around here. So let's set it at 6340. Now, if price goes above that 6340, I want to be alerted to it. Rearm type, we'll set that to 60, and we'll add in our sound. So we'll do alert 3 this time, and we'll see what that sounds like. Okay, so you heard that. That was like a gun going off. So that's your price alert. And let me go back into this. If you want to have it be either greater, if you want to have one that goes above a certain amount, or if it goes below a certain amount, so all of that in. So if it, let's say it goes below 6,300, so the price goes below, and we'll want to select our numeric value here on the right. So like 6,300. Well, since I have two conditions, I need to select it if any. All right. So if either of these occur, then that sound will go off. And so once again, you could use this as a way to determine if the volatility has increased. So if the price breaks its current range, then you can be alerted and draw your attention back to the chart. But if you're having two conditions, make sure you select if any, at least in most cases. Another way to set up a price alert would be to add a horizontal line. And then that way you have something physically that you can see on the chart. So then if the price goes below it, then you can be alerted that way. So in this case, you would do, so price crosses below, and then you can have your horizontal line there, and then follow the same steps as normal. Okay, so now our last piece, our bonus piece, how to add your custom sounds. So you're going to pull up your file explorer, and you're going to go to local disk, then to program files. You're going to find your NinjaTrader, and then go to sounds. And then here's all of your list of sounds. And so they even have other languages if you want to choose a different language.
La conexión se perdió.
Now, to add your own in, you basically just drag your file in and place it in here. So these are WAV files, WAV. So make sure your file is in that format. Then what I'm going to do is move my file over and just drop it into the sound file here. And then we're good to go. All right, now our new sound should work. So I'm going to add in a price alert. All right, if price goes above this price here, then we're going to want our sound to play. And now this is a Jim Cramer sound. If you're familiar with where this is from, go ahead and like the video.
Money out there. No, no, no. Bear Stearns is fine. Do not take your money out. This is real. Look, if there's one takeaway other than a plus 400 something.
So that sounds 17 years old at this point. And it automatically played because price had already crossed above the price we set. So there are the four different topics we covered today, all these different types of alerts. Thank you guys for watching. If you learned something, subscribe, and we'll continue making these tutorials like this. All right, see you in the next video.